Bodine here. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So the channel is about retirement and what I've been going through in retirement and what maybe you're going through in retirement or what you did go through. But I stopped working back in December 10th, 2025 and thought, that the retirement would be fully settled or in effect in a short period of time. But what I didn't expect is the in-between phase, and that's a phase that I simply call the retirement gap. And that's what I'm going to refer to it as. The retirement gap to me is when you file for your retirement. Well, first off, I'll go back. When you are displaced from your job or you leave your job, in my case, I was displaced with corporate cutbacks. A lot of you have lost positions or you've had the same situation or you've simply retired out of your position. And maybe many of you thought about it initially because you were prepared and you said, I'm going to retire at a certain age at 62, at 64, 65, whatever it may be. But myself, with being removed from the position, with the corporate cutback, it left me in a position where I was thinking about retirement, but I had a plan. And I was going to wait till I was around the 66 mark. So with losing the position, didn't know if I wanted to really get back into the corporate world and go through it again. So it kind of escalated the plan and left me a few years without the income. But right now, what that gap is that I'm referring to, with me, it kind of hit me off guard because I had to activate as soon as possible because of the loss of job. So what that means is that the retirement gap is the time between the loss of job and when benefits start kicking in. Lost the job, filed for the unemployment, that kicks in. But I said in the last videos, it took a couple of weeks, over a month actually, I think it was 5 weeks because of a little severance package that they had and vacation that they paid out. Even though it took me a long time to get it, it took me about a month for them to pay that out. And then finally unemployment did kick in. And unemployment doesn't pay very much. So knowing at that point that I wasn't going to go back into the workforce right away, still looking for the job, I said, well, I better file for Social Security just in case so I can have that base income. But that period of time takes quite a bit because if you're not careful, it can be 90 days start date for your Social Security. And in that period of time, there's no income coming in. So all you have is your little bit of unemployment. So that's one of the biggest things that I think with the process of the gap is that we look at that and it can be a period of time where you're without any money at all and it can be kind of not tragic, not really, not bad, but it's kind of stressful when it comes to the finances and things. I'm walking around here in this sandstone, beautiful sandstone. Native Americans used to come up here and grind gourd and corn up in this area that I'm in now. It's a beautiful hike. It's very historical. But one of the things that I experienced is that gap. I'm experiencing it now. It should be coming to an end at the end of the month. But I looked into Social Security, I had a plan, I had all that going. But let me know if you have had a similar situation with that because this gap is a little bit awkward, right? Because I'm used to being in control of my finances. You work, you go to work and the money comes in from the paycheck, you get paid twice a month, once a month, whatever it is. But when you stop getting that pay and you're waiting on others, then you have to call, you have to find out, and you're waiting every day because you need to get that revenue going because, of course, you still have bills. You have some debts to pay down, and we've been doing that. But I thought it was going to happen a little quicker than this, to be honest. So I didn't plan on this part of it, that retirement gap. So that waiting period can be I'd say it can be negative if you're not prepared, if you don't have a little bit of money set aside. So I just wanted to bring this up and let people know to be prepared. If you're getting ready to go into retirement, be aware of that gap on the financing part of it. But what about insurance? The insurance gap can be huge as well. So we need to make sure that when we looked at Marketplace, I talked about a video a while back, that you're going in the phase where you can actually enroll, open enrollment, unless there's a hardship. Well, I'm not so sure that just because you're going to retire, that's a hardship. So you might have to wait until it comes up to open enrollment again. But if you were, disabled or displaced for reasons like, fired or something like that, you may be able to get that on that insurance. There are other programs out there, but be sure that when you're going through this, this retirement gap, this waiting period, that you think about those things. So you look at, one is the retirement gap for getting your money and being retired. Two is the insurance part of it, which is huge. And you have to prepare for that period of time, be able to set finances away to be able to help you get through that period, because you don't want to have late payments or miss some steps along the way. You know, and you say, well, gosh, I thought I had it planned. Why is it taking so long? The other thing I have to encourage everybody is, since I've started this channel, I have went on that Social Security website and did as much planning as I could with what they said I needed to do and figuring out those numbers. And then instantly after that, when I started getting the notes on my COBRA from my employer, instantly started working on the insurance part of it, and barely made it in on the marketplace for open enrollment. But here's another one of the gaps. With the insurance and enrolling for that, then they said, because of the fact that I'm on unemployment, didn't make enough money, they threw me into the Medicare area to see if I qualified for low income. And so now it's still under review, and until it's out of review, I can't go back in and activate on the marketplace. And so there's a period of time where I literally can't get insurance for this period of time, unless I pay a tremendous amount of money outside marketplace. And I'm just not in a position to do that. I don't think it would be financially a good move at this point. So that should take about another 30 days. So the retirement gap can be anywhere from 60 to 120 days, depending. When you file for Social Security, they want you to review all of your years that are on your Social Security statement, all the years that you worked. And when you review that, you need to be really cautious on it, because there might be a couple of years missing, or there might be some income missing on there, and there could be money left on the table. So you have to review it and okay that, and they review it as well, but what they see on the Social Security site is what they're looking at to okay. If you're missing something or missing a couple of years there, you need to make sure that you get on there, look at that Social Security site, and make sure those years aren't missed. I suggest you do it early, because if you're going to challenge it, your process is going to be even longer than we're talking about. And we're talking about income loss, or lack of income, I should say, for up to 120, maybe more days. So it could be 4 or 5 months when you look at those things to review it on the site. So just wanted to see where you were at, or if you've ran into it, because it's something that I am looking at and saying it's gone pretty smooth for me, but it could have gone a lot worse. So I wanted to bring that up here on the channel, because the retirement gap is real. And it could be a gap of about 4 months, maybe even longer, for retirement or Social Security to kick in when you're working with them, if there are mistakes found on there. So start early. Start looking at those numbers, because that's what I did. Even though I got caught off guard a little bit, I was looking at it a few months before this happened. Just didn't expect it to happen so soon. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you and give you a little update on that. So my Social Security has not kicked in yet. I think it's going to be here again, end of March. But so far it looks like it's pretty smooth. There's no hangups. And we're getting ready to head down that retirement road. So if you would, let me know exactly what has happened to you, or if it's happened to you, because that gap can be harmful for people if you have to wait too long. Remember to do something kind for yourself. Do something kind for somebody else. Every day, do something to make yourself feel better, like walking out here in this beautiful area. And we'll see you in the next one.